He can do it. What kind of heart do you have in you to put a pull on him? And are you willing to submit to his lordship to decide at that particular moment what he wants to do? He loves you and he cares for you. But he's got the whole picture here. But don't explain away miracles. The church is trying to explain them away. Well, they passed away when the apostles did. No, they did not. People just quit believing. This one was a physical healing. Physical eyes were blind. Physical eyes were opened. And they had perfect vision. Now, it doesn't say they had perfect vision, but I would just assume God touched their eyes. He didn't do a sloppy job. God can heal. God can heal spiritually, but don't say that's all he can do. He can heal emotionally. But there's one more part to this passage, and I know it was a physical healing, but there's something else here. There's a spiritual healing I'm trying to get across to you in my message. I left two words. I left 3 words off. It says they regained their sight. Listen to the next 3 words. And followed him. They followed him. And this is something I've been teaching at Mount of Fellowship a lot lately. They had their eyes open so they could see even deeper who he really was. They already knew he was Jesus and he could heal. But they saw something else. And now they had the ability, the sight, and now that something else in their heart they could see to follow. The more we see him in the Spirit, by faith, the more we're going to follow him. It just makes sense. And we're like disciples. You know, sometimes I think we see the storm more than we see Jesus. Come on, let's admit it. We see the enemy sometimes more than we see God. We see, it's kind of like Elisha and his servant. A whole army was circling them to capture them. All the servant could see was the enemy. Elisha said God opened his eyes so that he might see. Well, God touched the servant's eyes, and lo and behold, instead of seeing an army against them, he saw an army of heavenly hosts for them. So he quit worrying. He quit worrying because he could see. And this is how we follow. We follow and look closer in order to see more, and we see more when we can follow him more. It's both. So we have to understand this. We've got to believe it. God has authority over everything in heaven and earth. So people say, well, why don't he stop some of the stuff? Why don't he stop wars? Why don't he stop sickness? Because man has chosen not to follow God. Man is in rebellion, and God has given us a free will, and he's not going to make us do right. Don't blame God for the mess the world is in. Blame it on Satan and the fallen heart of man. That's what it is. Now, we can cry out for help. He's not going to just rebuke you when you say, God, I'm afraid, like he did on the boat. He's got compassion. He's going to hear you cry. God, I need strength. God, I'm fearful. He's going to help. But he's going to do something else too. He's going to try to teach you so that you grow through this experience. Whew. He wants us to do more than just get our prayers answered. That's what I'm coming to. He wants us to follow him. Too many people are just bent on getting the prayers answered. That's all you think about is getting my prayers answered. I need this. I want that. I got to have this. What's wrong with this? Change that person. Have you ever just wanted to follow him because he's good and because he's Jesus and he loves you and died for you and you just want to stay close to him? He's already promised us he'd give us what we need if we'd seek first his kingdom. So let's just do that. Let's follow him. You know, it's amazing sometimes. It's sad. Nature follows God more than man. Nature follows the ordained cycle that he put in place. Only man rebelled. And that's not good. Everything has been thought out by the Father for us to follow. He's got a path for us, guys, that is blessed. Don't go seeing dollar signs in your eyes, okay? We've got too much of that junk being preached now, and I call it junk. Look in my eyes. It's junk, and it's not from Christ. A lot of the prosperity teaching is wrong. Does God not want you to be prosperous? I didn't say that. I'm talking about what's being preached and appealing to the soul of man, appealing to greediness. That is not the Spirit of Christ. God can and will bless you. But we need to understand, are we after getting rich? Are we trying to follow the Son of Man? And it may cost you everything. But He's worth it. Got 1 minute. Because the rest of this stuff's going to pass away, guys. No, He doesn't want you living in poverty either. But please understand my heart here. We got to get to the truth of what He's saying. He said, die to yourself and follow me. And He says, and I'll give you anything and everything you need, son. I'll give you everything you need, daughter. Just seek first my kingdom. Follow my Son, not behind Him somewhere, but in Him. And you will have a blessed life. And you will find riches that are real riches, which are much more important than the other kind of stuff. So we'll get onto this next week. We'll go to Ephesians 3 probably and start there. That every family in earth derives its name from God. At least His family does. That's talking about His family. Got to stop. But thank you for watching. Until next week, God bless you richly is my prayer.